Hey, I'm Julia, and I'm here to tell you about our new Darkside app that has come about in the past year of 2017. I'm not wrong. You can, if you're lazy as fuck, you can buy shit in the comfort of your own home from us. Even stuff that we do not have in store. So if we don't have a store, you can order it, and it'll be shipped right to your house.
You were so close to Employee of the Year.
I know.
Until that.
So sorry. It's free to download. If you come in the store and you show us you have downloaded it, and you're a Tap Mango member, we will give you a $5 off coupon. So download it.
Holla holla $5.
Good job. Good job. That's your ad. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Let's do the podcast.
This is the Darkside Records and Gallery podcast.
Hey, can I have a stripey? Yeah. I haven't had a red stripe in so long.
So I felt in the gas station.
Yeah. I love the little bottles. They're so cute.
They are cute.
I know.
Hooray, beer. Yeah, not a list either, so.
I have 9 ideas.
I have a list. It's over there charging right now, so, you know. When you get to me, it'll be above 8%.
I put, I tried to be resourceful. I put mine in Google Drive.
Wow.
Mine on an envelope.
Oh, I left something blank. It's for best reish of the year.
Oh, that's right. You do fucking, like, little subtopics. Mm-hmm. I have some honorable mentions. I don't have... Okay.
Okay.
No, you know what? I gotta reish.
I assume that, both you and Little Birdo over here are going to have best soundtracks.
Oh, no. This was a good fucking year for soundtracks.
It really was.
Oh, yeah.
What I like about Brian is that ever since you started working here, you've basically kind of run the gamut of being little versions of each of the three of us. When you first started, you were little JB because you had a beard and we dressed very similar.
You have the same tattoo.
Oh, yeah, the tattoos.
Yeah, we have the same tattoos.
Oh,
Jenny's.
both Capricorns.
Yeah.
That's
Both
important.
Cappies.
Jenny's. Is your tattoo his mother's name, too?
It is. And it just says JB's mom.
And then for a little bit, you were a little JJ. Mm-hmm. I can't remember why, though. It was something, you guys shared a very
Fast
similar
food
bond.
or something?
That could very
Cholesterol number.
Cardiologist.
It's the Burger King connection.
Yep.
And then the soundtrack love started coming out, and then it went straight to Little Birdo.
Keep it real in here, man.
Someone's got a rep. Yeah, shit.
I had the Portal soundtrack on today. Oh, it was good.
Don't do it, Brian. Don't get him started. Stay on
we're
track.
gonna get my list. I'll get started.
So, hey, everybody. Welcome to the Darkside Records podcast, brought to you by the good folks here at Darkside Records, located at 611 Dutchess Turnpike in Poughkeepsie. This is a monthly podcast about music, the music industry, vinyl records, vinyl clothing, the final countdown,
Male genitalia.
often male genitalia.
Yep. Asians.
So we've got a special edition podcast here. This is our year-end podcast.
Same special edition we do every year.
It doesn't make it less of a special edition.
That's true.
I mean, maybe a little bit. But this is a special edition podcast. This is, of course, our 2017 year-end recap Top 10 podcast. So for your listening pleasure, we thought we would do something special, and we thought we'd do something special, and we brought along some guests. We have with us everybody who works here. All the folks who work here. Almost the whole staff made it. Almost everybody. There are a couple folks who are not here with us tonight because they're no longer with... No, that doesn't make sense. No, they're not dead. There are a couple folks who are not here tonight, but don't worry. We will be posting their lists as well on our website, darksiderecords.com. We might even get a list from Aaron. But so I guess we'll just we'll each go around and just say hi, who you are, and your astrological sign. And
Thank you. Oh my God.
your favorite type of taco. I'm JB. I'm a Capricorn. And I like chili tofu tacos.
I'm Brian. I am also a Capricorn. And I'll pretty much eat any taco you put in front of me because that shit's good.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's
Amen,
real
brother.
good.
Okay, I'm Julia. I'm a Virgo, but I am on the cusp, so I have a little Leo in me.
Oh my God.
Use that word.
And I'm not kidding. And I love steak tacos.
I'm Justin, or JJ, depending on who you ask. I don't go in for this astrological bullshit.
We've had many arguments over this.
And I will also consume any taco put in front of me. Doesn't matter.
I am Tyler. I'm a Pisces. And I, too, by the laws of stoners, will eat any tacos put in front of me. Limited to... but I do enjoy a good fish taco. If I,
Yeah, fish tacos.
Yeah.
I do remember fish tacos at Taco Shack
Ooh,
in New Paltz
yeah.
were crazy good. Even though I feel like all they did was microwave a fish stick,
Right.
and just put it in a taco and put some like mayo on it.
But you knew what you were getting into going into that
so
shack.
good, yeah.
I'm Drew. I'm a Leo.
I like that everyone is still doing the
I know.
astrological
I'm
sign
so
thing.
happy. Let's continue this.
And I prefer tacos soft, but I am a chicken and steak taco fan.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. I'm Berto. I'm a Libra. And I've never said no to any taco, I don't think. But definitely if it's a fresh fish taco.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't go in for the fish stick thing. It's got to be fresh fish taco. Just cilantro and lime and...
Like sushi?
No. Well... I wouldn't. I would
Tuna
probably eat
tacos
it.
are
I'd probably eat
sushi-grade
it.
tuna.
Yeah.
So you're pro sushi grade tuna in a taco, but are you pro taco grade tuna in a sushi?
No.
Correct answer.
I'm Kendra, a.k.a. Kenny, a.k.a.
No one
Kendrick
cares
Lamar.
about
Wait, what?
aliases. Come on.
I've never called you Kenny. I've called you Kendrick Lamar a bunch.
Kung Fu
Only
Kenny.
close family and friends heard me.
Wow. Wow.
Is
Well,
that
fuck
line
all
in
of
the
us.
sand?
Oh, wow.
Only
Fuck you,
close
Kenny.
friends, GB.
No, my nickname here is Kendrick Lamar.
Put your name on the
I don't know
streets.
why I only have male nicknames, but
Well, that's something for your therapist to answer.
I'm a Pisces. My birthday, I think, is right by Tyler's, actually. I'm a vegetarian, so I like tacos with no meat in it.
Up
I
high.
get that soy shit. So
This podcast, of course, we're here to talk about 2017. Things we loved, things we didn't love, things that happened, joy, a little bit of pain.
Fewer famous people died this year, so that's a plus.
Is that true?
But it stung more.
But for the first time, we had a winner in the Deadpool.
I know. Oh, well, no. For the first time, Aaron assassinated somebody.
That's what I mean.
Okay, well, yeah.
We've never had a Deadpool winner before.
It's true.
Well, this
true.
was really first year for Deadpool.
Oh, we've been doing the Deadpool for like 5 years. I think just low key. We've never.
I don't know. I feel like we officially spelled it out last year.
Yeah, last year we really got
After Bowie,
put some
really.
money on it, but not money, just glory. I mean, just because you have a
I've
kill
been really
list
after
doesn't make it a
Prince.
Deadpool.
Because Bowie was early on, and then Prince was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about this. This is so depressing.
Let's celebrate 2017 by remembering how shitty 2016 was.
We just no. Look, we remember those fallen soldiers.
Five dog.
Fife Dog. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah,
That was last year, but
that was.
Tom
well,
Petty.
shit. Tom Petty.
Petty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
that's
big
a big
one.
one.
Sharon Jones.
Charles
Huge.
Bradley,
Huge.
George Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Was 2017?
Oh, yeah, I
That was
forgot about
27.
that.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
That was early on, I think. No one cared as much, but
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Wham lately.
Wham is so good.
Really just 2 songs, because the girls are really into Wake Me Up Before You Go Go and Last Christmas. So they just keep asking for them over and over.
Those are good karaoke jams.
I tried to transition them
True.
tonight to Take On Me.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Little aha action.
Good.
We'll see. Still up in the air.
At least they're not doing Mariah Carey Christmas songs.
Ugh.
That one got played today, so we'll see. We'll see. I also played Backdoor Santa on the way to school this morning.
Did you play your Christmas 45 for everybody this year?
It's usually a Christmas Eve tradition.
Okay.
You're just throwing
Well,
it
in
around.
that case,
You
I'm not
gotta-
gonna. No spoilers.
Yeah. Who's working Christmas Eve?
I am. I
am.
can't wait.
Yeah. Y'all are in for a treat.
A real treat.
So, listeners, remember, if you're here on Christmas Eve, we're open until 5 o'clock
5 o'clock.
on Christmas Eve.
Usually around 10 a.m. we throw this on.
It's good to have holiday traditions. I had a lot of trouble actually finishing my list this year because my wife loves Christmas music. And I couldn't listen to shit. Like, I had to, like, battle her for the stereo. So I intentionally, like, drove around, like, with my Spotify on, just having to catch up on shit.
You heard, Cole? You heard? There was
Oh, she knows.
There's no errands.
She knows.
That's the
It was
worst.
just Vorchik and Birdo in the car.
He didn't have a record this year.
But you did meet him this year.
True. No, what? You're thinking of Vorchik Kilar.
Yeah. Who did you meet?
Fabio Frizzi.
Oh, my bad.
excuse
Sorry,
me.
my
How
bad.
dare you?
Bibbidi-bobbidi.
Scusi.
He was a really nice gentleman.
I feel like that's the worst case scenario for that situation. It's not just that you can't get in to listen to the music you want to listen to, but that you can't do it specifically because the only other thing that's being listened to is Christmas
Yeah.
music.
That's
That's
really the crux of it right there.
that's brutal.
What's the greatest hits on the Christmas playlist?
She moves around a lot.
He tries to tune it out as much as
Like,
possible.
I do. I mean, I have been able to kind of steer her toward like R&B Christmas songs and like some jazz and blues Christmas stuff.
Did you get the Soul Christmas comp?
Yep, got that.
So Backdoor Santa has been played in your house.
I'm pretty sure it has.
Ain't no chimneys in the project.
The Johnny Cash Christmas record was that was rough. I forgot he went heavy on that Jesus. Heavy on the Jesus.
It's kind of his thing.
Yeah, it's totally slipped my mind, and then he's like, in between songs, he's like preaching.
Oh
God.
Ooh.
Even Cole was like, "This is weird."
So we're here. We're gathered today.
In holy matrimony.
We are gathered here today
Oh my God.
to talk about our top 10 lists for 2017. A lot of music came out in 2017. A lot of good music. Some other music.
Shit.
I was trying to, not bury the lead there, but yeah, other music came
I was
out
disappointed a lot.
Is that the lead?
Yeah.
in 2017.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of bands that I thought they haven't put out music in a long fucking time, and it was like, okay.
So, like I said, a lot of other music came out this year. So every December, we all get together here so we could share with you our thoughts on music that touched us in a good place. And I just thought we would get together and share what we liked with all of you guys. We put out a call in usually right about Thanksgiving, and we ask what your picks were for top 10 albums of the year. We have a hashtag online, hashtag DS Top 10 2017, Darkside Top 10 2017. And so many of you have sent us in top 10 lists. And thank you, seriously,
The
for all
response
of
gets
them.
better every year.
It's awesome. You guys are fucking great, and I really enjoyed seeing so many different lists, and especially so many lists that incorporated bands that I had literally never even heard of. That is always something that I really enjoy seeing on top 10 lists. But so if you have a list and you want to share it with us and with the world, we'd love to hear what you thought. Continue sending us your list. You can email it to us. You can DM us on any of the social medias. You could just post it online. Use the hashtag DS Top 10 2017. DS Top 10 2017. And we'll share it from our pages and on our website.
Just make sure your Instagram's not private. But don't worry, Melly, I got you, and we put you on.
Yeah.
Shout out.
So we each have put together a top 10, I guess, except for Brian.
Whatever.
Bucky, he's got a top 3.
And I got some to add in there. 'Cause my problem was there was just things in rotation. There's
Yeah.
no real format after the top 3 for me. I just listen to stuff. I'm like, oh, I like this. I'm gonna listen to that shit
Yeah.
again. That shit's tight.
See, that's what you do, and then before you know it, you got 10.
Nah. I got 3.
So, all right, I guess we'll, Bucky, let's start with you.
Nice one.
Bucky?
Bucky?
That's what his Instagram name is?
Who?
You?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Oh,
his
yeah.
name is Bucky.
Does anyone call you Bucky?
Behind that.
A few do. It started at
Should
my
I
old job.
should I not call you Bucky?
No, that's totally fine. I'll answer to that.
I think of
Isn't
Bucky
that
Barnes,
a
the Winter
captain
Soldier.
I was thinking of Bucky Barnes.
I've
Yeah.
gotten that a couple of
Sebastian
times. And I'm cool with
Stan.
that. He's badass.
So handsome.
He's a lot more badass.
Is
and
your
more
arm
handsome
made
than
of
me.
metal?
What's up?
Is your arm made of metal?
No, my heart is made of metal.
Aww.
It's so nice.
It'd be a lot cooler if it was your arm.
Yeah, it fucking would, right?
So, so let's talk about this top 3 and your hypothetical top whatever else.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. So, my number 1 record is the new Turnover record.
Wait, you're going top down?
Yeah, I'm going top down because I have
God damn it.
I have 1 through 3, and then just a bunch of shit. So I figure I'll start at the top.
You should start at 3 and work your way up.
Okay, strike that last one.
Always go ass to mouth.
What? Wait, what?
Never go ask them now.
Sometimes in the heat of passion.
it's
On the dark
acceptable.
Okay, I'll flip it then.
Okay.
Number 3.
I mean, we already know.
Yeah,
Right,
now
what is.
Cut that
no,
out. Cut that out.
Cut that out.
No. Fuck it.
That's not getting edited. Number 3 is the debut album from 100 Suns. I believe it's pronounced the Prestelis. It is the singer of Norma Jean, Corey Brandon, his new band. Not that he's left Norma Jean, because they put out an awesome record this year as well, Polar Similar. So yeah, that record's really good. Nice and dirty. Number 2 record is the Menzingers, After the Party. Some good,
Same here.
yeah, just
Same
some
here.
good solid.
These fucking
some
kids
good
are on the
solid pop
format.
Yeah, that record was really good. Just front to back, every song on there. And then number 1, surprise, is the new Turnover record, Good Nature. It was very close between the Menzingers and Turnover, but Turnover just holds a little special place in my heart, so they took the top. It's just nice. It's good pot rock, you know.
Yeah, I was about to
Just
say, what did you
fucking-
call it
yep.
before?
Did you say
Fuck.
pot rock?
Pot rock,
Pot
man.
rock?
Hold on,
Just
what?
fucking.
Girk just tuned in for the first time in 10 minutes.
Just fucking light a fatty and just put on the new Turnover and chill.
Noted.
Oh yes, it's all good, baby. And yeah, then there's just a lot of other just solid records this year that I couldn't really pick a spot for them because, like I said, they're just in constant rotation. The new Mastodon, Emperor Sands was really good. Like I said before, the new Norma Jean, Polar Similar was really good. New AFI, the Blood album, I very much enjoyed that. I'm pretty sure that was 2017.
I didn't even know there was a new AFI this
Yeah,
year.
I think it was the very beginning of 2017. It was good. I liked it a lot. You know, I mean, they've changed over the years. It's not so much punk or East Bay hardcore, but it's good. You know, there's a lot of good soundtracks too. The Twin Peaks soundtrack.
This is really where I think you shine the most,
Yeah,
and why
the
you and
soundtrack.
Berto are going to be good friends. Is you're a big soundtrack fan.
Yeah, Creepshow 2 came out. I was really stoked for Creepshow 2, and I liked that they kept all the little snippets.
Oh, the sound bites, yeah,
the
and
sound
the
bites from the
dialogue and
Creeper.
stuff,
I
yeah.
thought that was awesome. So that brought me back to being a wee lad, watching things I probably shouldn't have been.
And that's how things like this happen.
Exactly. And then the John Carpenter put out the new one, the Anthologies one.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was
I
really
enjoyed
cool
that.
to have like all of his top ones pretty much on one record. It was cool.
Plus, he re-recorded them with the full band,
Yeah.
which was nice.
That was really cool.
So it kind of shortened them up into like, you know, pop rock length actual song
Yeah.
versus 10 minutes of.
Of just him on a piano and synthesizers. Yeah, there was a lot of good records, and I keep like forgetting about records. That was also my problem making a top 10 list. Like, the new August Burns Red was a good record. I like forgot that came out, and there was just a lot of other records where I was like, oh shit, that was 2017. That's cool. I think it was all in all a solid year for music, just in general. Like a lot of bands just that you wouldn't think to put out records. Like Kendra said, there was a lot of bands that hadn't put out music in a long time, and they're just like, hey, we're gonna drop a record this year. It'll be fun. So looking forward to that.
I think that actually is a really good point. Is that I feel like we've done a couple of these specific podcasts where we've even talked at the top of the podcast and we've said, you know, it felt like a strange year. It felt like nothing really great had come out,
Yeah.
or you know, we felt kind of disappointed until we started like actually digging and looking and be like, oh shit, I forgot about this and I forgot about this and
Yep.
this was so great. And I will say that this year, I did feel like was actually a very good year for music. It was when it came time to do the top 10, I was actually excited about it, and I didn't feel that like hesitation in any way, even if it's like, you know, like a little bit or something there. I just felt, I was like, this was a good year for music. There's a lot of good things that I'm excited to put on this list and to talk about.
Yeah, Nightbringers. That shit was tight. See,
So like some years in the past, I felt like struggling to find 10. like 10 records I can listen to regularly.
Yeah.
This year I was struggling to narrow the list. Which
Yeah,
was
exactly.
A nice new challenge.
I kept just remembering new ones. Like,
Well, that actually brings up something I forgot to mention at the top of this podcast. Something I also enjoy doing when we get into this talk about top 10 lists. What was your number one pick last year, Baberto?
Fuck. Give me a minute.
JJ?
No idea.
No idea?
Thought about this earlier.
I remember.
I don't remember.
Hold on.
Girk?
Chance the Rapper's coloring book.
I don't remember that because you got me into that record.
I think mine was Childish Gambino.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Mine was,
I really
Oh wait,
wanted
no,
that.
mine was
that the
mine was
most.
Black
Yeah.
Star.
David Bowie, Black
Yeah,
Star?
yeah.
mine was the White
I
Album.
believe mine was the Tribe Called Quest record that came out late last year.
Yeah.
That made my
Vogue.
list, but it wasn't top.
And that's is also an interesting point. Is talking about like what we're still listening to from the previous year, and that's sort of my like litmus test for what truly is like a great album from someone.
There's a record this year that I can remember back a few years ago. Their last record was also on my top 10 list. So I like, there's some nice consistency there.
What was that?
I'm not telling you. It's not my turn. Fuck you. You'll find out when we get there.
All I can tell you is list from last year.
What was it?
This is completely irrelevant because we're taking up more time. But, Banks and Steels, Radiohead,
Yeah.
Pixies, Nick Cave, Warren Ellis, Hell or High Water soundtrack, Kyle Dixon, Michael
Yeah.
Stranger Things,
oh yeah.
Tribe Called Quest,
Ugh.
Nothing,
Oh god.
a bunch of people I don't care about, Luke Cage original soundtrack.
Yeah.
He's listed like 8 people in front of it. The Weeknd and Black Star.
The Weeknd.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Also, I just want to point out that I went to look to see what my top 10 list was last year, and I'm the only one that does not have a nice staff graphic on the hashtag.
How is that possible?
Scrub me from the internet.
Let me make sure it's on the right hashtag before we get any further. I see here Peter Joseph used the wrong hashtag. Pete.
That's a Pete thing to do.
He was close. He got most of the hashtag in it.
Julia?
Okay. Oh, wait. So am I just like reading it off?
10-1.
Okay.
No,
I
you're supposed to
actually
go
just wanted
1, then 10 to 1.
Okay. So my top 10 is Neck Deep, The Peace and the Panic. I didn't like it as much as their last one. Wait, am I just commenting on it? I don't
No,
really know the
you can.
format.
Do it up.
Okay. But it's just most of my like all the pop punk basically on my list pretty much. It's like they all came out with kind of like a newer sound, which got a lot of hate, but I liked it and I was open to it. So my next one for number 9 is Seaway Vacation. Number 8 is the Front Bottoms Going Gray. Always Anti-Socialist.
Is it always or all the vase?
It's actually
Like
funny
German, always.
because I have 2 bands on here that have their W's as 2 V's. Number 6 is SZA. I don't normally listen to like R&B, but I love this record. I love SZA. I think she's such a badass, and yeah, I really enjoyed that record. Number 5 is Waves. You're Welcome, another band that has the 2 V's as a W. Okay, number 4. Mac DeMarco, This Old Dog.
Hell yeah.
Number 3, Turnover, Good Nature.
You.
Good chill album. I
Pot
agree.
dude.
Pot rock,
Brian, was that
yes.
your number 1?
What? That was my number 1 twice, actually.
Number 2, The Men Singers.
Yeah.
After the Party.
That's a good record.
And then my number 1, which everyone by now knows what my number 1 is. It's Remo Drive Greatest Hits. It is not a Greatest Hits album. They're a new band, but they're very bold, in my opinion, for them to call their first album the Greatest Hits, but I actually agree with it.
That's very smart.
Didn't 18 Visions, their second album, wasn't that called The Best Of? Or The Very Best or something like that?
Yeah, there was like
Right?
something like that.
That was another good record this year, the new 18 Visions. I know you didn't like it. That was just so much mosh, man.
So much more.
Just so much mosh. Fuck.
Do I need to
Much
make the noise
mosh.
again?
Yes. What was that? All right.
Next.
I guess that makes me the next to go.
Yep.
So I
Drew.
could have gone with
This is Drew.
this is Drew speaking.
Drew.
Just to
Leo.
clarify.
10 only,
Leo.
please. I don't want
Leo,
your
I
whole
guess.
20 with your.
He's on the
No,
cusp. He's just
don't
a
worry,
full-on
don't worry.
Leo.
I'll keep this brief. I could have gone like 30 deep. I listened to more music this year than I have in a long time, and I enjoyed more music
Bet
than
you
I have
go
in a long
30
time.
He's just showing
Show
off.
off.
I think.
I could. Not off the top of my head, but if I were to write it down. Anyway, my top 10, number 10 is Washed Out's album Mr. Mellow. Number 9 is Lord's Melodrama. Number 8 is Kendrick Lamar's Damn. Number 7, The War on Drugs, A Deeper Understanding. Number 6 is Courtney Barnett and Kurt Vile's Lot of Sea Lice. Number 5 is Jason Isbell and the 400 Units, The Nashville Sound.
Forgot about that one.
Number 4 is Foxygen's Hang. Number 3 is Mac DeMarco's This Old Dog. Number 2 is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards' Flying Microtonal Banana, my favorite of their 5 that they released this year. And number 1 is Tyler the Creator's Flower Boy.
Yeah, that was a good record.
Yeah, that was
Scumfuck?
really good.
You put that on in here. That was really good.
Yeah,
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
it's a lot
because
of
of
fun.
you and
Nice.
Tyler, I've gotten very into that record.
I gotta call
We're
it
talking
out.
about Tyler Gherkin or Tyler the Creator?
That's what I was gonna say.
Both.
Yeah, both exactly.
Best kept secret in music.
I'm gonna call it out. I think the Mac DeMarco record is boring.
Okay, well these are our lists.
So I'm
Dude,
creating
to be
controversy
fair-
and debate.
It's not a
Welcome to
personal
a
thing.
fucking podcast, Julia.
He's so interesting.
Oh my God.
I've never listened to him. So
I don't have a counter.
It's just
It's
I don't not get it, but it's just like every time you guys play it, I just feel like the day is longer.
It is
Till you
I
die.
feel like it's like either like you love Mac DeMarco or you hate him. That's like the gist.
I don't
of it.
hate him.
Well, like, or you just don't like it. Like, I don't know.
Well, you
There's
said
just-
you gave an A and B option.
it's true.
And I'm
You didn't
throwing-
allow any
Okay,
room for
that's
gray
true.
area.
Back
That's
to
true,
you.
but like that's it's just like
I really like the concept of it. How
Yeah.
it was like about his dad who was
Oh, yeah,
dying, but
yeah.
like he was on really bad terms with him, so he couldn't really come to grips with it the right way. But
Yeah.
so
See,
I liked
just learned
that
something
part.
by bringing this up.
See, now he's going to listen to it because he
Every
loves a
like-
concept album.
No, I probably. I mean, I'm sure somebody will play it again. And I don't care that you play it. I just every time it comes on, I feel like I should be at the beach and like ready to go home. You know what I mean?
oh my god.
It's like
It's the end of the day.
The album is like the end of the day at the beach. That's
It
how
makes you
feels
feel
to me.
sunburned.
No, that's that works.
I don't know about you, but I
don't think I
can't
wanna
wait
listen to
to
that
leave the beach. I'm a little pasty, so
I don't go to the beach.
Oh, you're missing out. The beach is great.
I'm not a beach.
I do enjoy the beach. Yeah, I'm into the beach.
Yeah.
If you know this, I don't go anywhere.
Look, I am pasty as fuck, okay? So I get the whole burning thing, but
I'm not
you know,
a burner,
you know,
really.
just
If I spend a lot of time on the beach, I
I
come
am
back
a
looking
burner.
like I need a wallpaper in
Burner
front of me.
and then it chants.
Every opportunity.
like I always come back pink, but it's just you relax, you have a cocktail, laying in the sand, you jump in the ocean, you swim around where fish do it. It's a
Fish have sex in that water. Yeah.
and there's like syringes and chemicals everywhere, and you dive in, go under the wave, and-
Jersey Shore.
yeah, you wake up with a plastic bag on your face. It's nice. It's like it's relaxing in a disgusting sort of way.
I think last time I was in the
Yeah, well,
ocean,
you and I don't go to the same beach.
That's true. I've just been jumping in the Hudson River.
Well, that makes sense.
Quick follow-up question for Drew here for your list.
Yo.
So, was there anything that was on your list that was new? An artist you had never heard of before, that you had never listened to, someone that was like a new band, or even just new to you, who was in your top 10?
There's a lot of bands that really grew on me this year. The War on Drugs really grew on me. This is the first time I really got into one of their records. I've always heard some of their singles, but this year really did it for me. Obviously, King Gizzard has been very ambitious, but every album is very different from the past one, which makes me kind of at least appreciate that it's unique. I don't like every one equally, some more than others, but the ones that I do like, I really, really enjoyed. And I really got into Courtney Barnett this year, too. I got to give a shout out to her because every one of her records have been really great. And I went back and listened to everything. And the collab with Kurt Vile was great. It was a really fun record.
Does King Gizzard put out an album like 10 times a year?
5.
5.
This year.
Holy shit.
I think last year was what, 3 maybe?
I think 4 last year,
Okay.
and they've just been building it up every year. So I'm
we
counting on
expect
6 from you guys next year. Just if you're listening.
I love bands who just love to play. You know, like they're just there because they love creating music and making music, and there's something about that specifically in a band. And I feel like King Gizzard does exactly that. Like they're just like, fuck it, we just love playing, and we love playing. This is not going to go well. We just love playing with each other and being around each other.
You had to say it.
And everything that comes out of that.
He could have rephrased.
All over us and all over everyone who listens to it.
Well, I've always heard that their live shows are spectacular, and I'm going to have to try to catch one next
Very
year if possible.
stimulating.
Especially when they play with each other.
Very stimulating when they play with each other.
You're going to leave titillated.
Kenny.
Okay.
You just bullied Kenny into reading her list.
You killed Kenny. Okay.
See, that's what I think of when you say Kenny.
I know that's what everyone thinks of.
What does your family call you on Christmas?
Kenny.
Your family calls you Kenny? Oh.
Aw.
There was no heart behind that whatsoever.
Purely sound.
Oh.
My family
boy.
calls me by my middle name.
What's your middle name?
You'll never know.
Fuck.
What is
Fuck
the
you.
start?
Yeah, it's a thing. It starts with an H.
It starts with a letter.
Mine starts with
Henry.
It's another
H2.
first name.
We're gonna do this again.
Horatio.
We're gonna do this again.
We're going to do it
Humphrey.
until the day we figure it out.
Henderson.
Or until I remember to ask
Howard,
Kenny.
Henderson, Humphrey, Brian the
Triple H.
18th. Which one? Fourth?
I am a fourth.
Okay,
He was a fourth, yeah.
All right. I knew it was a number. You know.
Didn't I just call your father? Like, sir, what's your middle name?
You could.
Brian, do you have it tattooed
I mean-
on you anywhere?
I do. It says JB's middle name. It's right below the one that says JB's mom.
Yes. Right next to the bear tattoo that we
Yep.
both have on our chest. Thanks, Hudson Valley Tattoo Company.
Is
We
it
love you.
Hitler?
Shut up.
I feel like sometimes you're ashamed of your middle name. And I'm like trying to think of like what's a shameful middle name.
I mean, my father is kind of German, but I don't. It's not Hitler.
Must be a really
Okay.
awkward Christmas.
Just wanted to clarify that.
There's a lot of waving at my Christmas. It's weird.
I didn't say you had to embrace it. I'm just saying maybe that's why you're ashamed of it.
I knew we were going to get to Hitler at some point in this podcast.
Really, I think it's late.
Yeah,
I'm
we've been here a
surprised
while,
with
yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Continue.
All right, Kendrick Lamar, what do you got?
This is really hard for me because I feel like they're very interchangeable.
That's what I'm saying.
So many things could be my
You had your
number
say.
one. I would say, honestly, it is a newer band like that I just started listening to. That would be my number one, and I'm gonna put that as Bleachers. The Gone Now.
What are you going top down?
I guess
You going number one?
I'm gonna change
No.
things up. Okay, because I don't.
Podcast is ruined.
I don't know. They're interchangeable, so it's.
With what? Like all 10 of
I'm
them
like,
are
as I'm
interchangeable?
going, I'm changing the order. So
Oh, shit.
on my envelope.
Commitment issues. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Sean.
No. Then Manchester Orchestra, Blackmail to the Surface, which was like all of their albums fantastic. I think that was like one of our most played on The Sims for at least that month. It definitely was. So now that's how I like know all the words to most of these albums are from working here and playing them throughout the month. Then number 3, I would say the Queens of the Stone Age. Villains.
With, what's their singer's name?
Josh Homme.
What?
It's homie.
Josh Homme.
Josh homie.
Josh my homie.
Let's make t-shirts that say Joshua Homme is my homie. Spelled the
Oh,
same
hell
way.
Yes.
I like that
Until
a
he
lot.
sues us.
Yeah.
Patent
Or
pending.
kicks us in the face.
Or kicks us in the face. Yeah, fuck that guy.
So yes, this is a
Look,
thing.
just
like-
because you're a photographer, all right, I don't think it was that big of a deal. Okay, you're a little
I don't
extra
either. I
sensitive.
saw the video and it was like a little flick.
Yeah, like he was just being a dick. You know?
Like a girl.
Like when I play with my band, I spit on people all the time. You know, I usually apologize after. I feel like he probably apologized. You know, He definitely publicly
He probably
He
apologized.
did public, yeah.
Yeah, but it's when you're like in the zone. Sometimes you're just you're a dick on stage.
There have been singers that have punched people off stage.
And
It's been a lot
yeah.
worse.
Parker
Yeah.
Cannon.
Yeah.
Nick.
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to.
That was bad, though.
I'm not trying to minimize this photographer and what happened to them, but
But despite the the controversy, I still enjoyed the album and like most of their work, it was pretty fucking kick ass. So yeah, that's my top 3, I'd say. And there's a lot more like Paramore, Beck,
I forgot about Beck.
Sam Smith. I mean, it wasn't. I love him, but it was kind of disappointing because his other album I played like nonstop, and this one it's been like, it's kind of boring. But he's still fucking amazing and has a good voice. So yeah, it's my top.
See, that wasn't 10. How come she didn't get shit?
I don't.
We've already been calling her Kenny for an
I
hour.
know. Yeah, exactly.
Fine.
Yeah, the Beck was really good. That just came out recently, but
Some of those songs are like
I
2 years
do.
old.
And he had been working on that album for something like 3 years ahead of releasing it.
It was. I think it was done around the same time as Morning Phase.
Two completely different albums.
Girk.
Heyo.
Wake up.
My turn. Been working on this list for a couple of days now.
Were you just editing your list
No.
since we've been sitting here?
No, I keep bringing it up because it's like 6 or 7 photos deep in my photo library. So I have to, like, every time my phone locks, I got to go into my photos and then scroll.
Scroll
through
past
the
the
countless
dicks
nudes.
to-
And, yeah.
Right.
It's a lot of work, man.
You said it. You said it's. Wait. You said it's 6 photos deep. That's not a lot of swiping.
It happens all the time. If you go to your camera and then you pull up your photos from there, and then when it locks, it returns either to your camera.
We'll show them the photo library. after
No,
this.
but the camera's easier to get to.
Is
It's,
it? Is
yeah.
it? Is what you're describing easy?
I don't know. Look, my camera's in my top right corner here.
Me too. That's where I put
And
mine.
my
Yeah.
photo library is
feel like everyone's
nowhere to be found on my front page. So that's at least one swipe to the left.
Oh my god.
Okay.
No, we're talking at least two clicks, and Audrey in my photo library.
How many swipes per second can you get?
Go.
How many was that?
I saw 3.
I saw 3.
We're going
I
about
got
3
3 there.
3 swipes per second.
I'm a Tinder pro. I'm good at
Oh, sorry, Sean.
just playing. You're gonna edit this out, right?
Nope. No.
Too late.
I say off the record.
No, you you have to say edit before you go into
Okay, you
some
could've
long
explained-
thread about racism or whatever else Berto
Listen,
wants to
I
talk
try
about.
to get you to keep that shit in. It's current, man.
Just remember, I have all this audio when he runs for public office. Just so.
You're the only one on here who's ever said the N-word.
2 words for you: context. Okay.
That's one word.
Look,
We're racist.
I said I wasn't good at math. Okay.
Girk?
Yeah,
Can you open your phone and swipe 6 fake pictures back?
run out of time. My phone can lock any second now.
Touch it.
Context.
2 words.
2 words. Context.
All right, so number 10, I had King Cruel's The Ooze. Number 9, I put Kendrick Lamar's Damn. Number 8, I put Run the Jewels 3. I was undecided if that would count because it came out in the end of last year. But
It
then
counts.
But the vinyl came out in the beginning of this year. So
Well, then by that logic, I could say Childish Gambino.
yeah,
The
I
vinyl
guess.
came out in 2017,
No,
but the album was out
it
in
was supposed to
2016.
come out in January, like the Run the Jewels, but they just dropped it.
It was a Christmas gift.
Yeah, they dropped it on Christmas, right? Number 7, I put Wolfpack's Mr. Finish Line. Number 6 was Curtis Harding's Face Your Fear. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
this cool like R&B soul throwback album. Number 5, I broke into 3 because they came out with 3 albums this year. It's called the Saturation Trilogy by this boy band Brockhampton. They call themselves a boy band. They're very adamant about being a boy band, but essentially they're just like a hip hop group from
Best boy band since One Direction.
yeah, you heard it. Yep. So they released 3 albums of like 12 tracks called Saturation 1, Saturation 2, Saturation 3. The first one coming out in like June, and they were all just fire. So 4, I put Scumfuck Flower Boy, the full title, the title of the creator. Number 3, Chicano Batman, Freedom is Free. Number 2, I put Pres Hall Jazz Band, So It Is. I probably would have put that number 1 had it been a little longer, but for what it was, the 7 songs that are on there, just good stuff. Always gets us going. And then number 1, I put Mount Erie's A Crow Looked at Me, which was this concept album from this like indie folk guy, Mount Erie, about his cancer-ridden wife dying and then him living with her afterwards. And it was just a super heavy album. And I was like, I couldn't come up with a number 1 album this year because, like previously mentioned, there's a lot of good stuff this year.
It already sounds better than Mac DeMarco.
But there was nothing jumped out at me. Nothing really jumped out at me for number 1 per se. Like there's a lot of like good stuff, but then I listened to this album like a couple weeks ago, and it really fucked me up. So I said, yeah, that'll do it.
Have you played that in the store?
No, I don't want to do that. I actually,
Please don't.
It's weird.
Everyone just lays around crying.
No,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
I like. It drew. I cried real tears. It's a really heavy album. It's weird. It's like very minimal. It's not like lo-fi or anything, but it's like very minimal instrumentation, and it's just like a lot of room for his lyrics to just kind of be there. And it's like very minimal lyrics, but very blunt and like straight to the point. And it's just like listening to it, like it was just really heavy stuff. And I don't think an album really did that or has ever done that to me. So I was like, I felt like it should be like at the top. Although I probably won't ever listen to it again unless I'm really fucking sad. It actually, I had heard about it for a while, and I had sat on like listening to it for like a couple weeks, and then like the time was right, so I like listened to it, and boom.
That was like Adele for me.
That was like Sigur Rós for me.
Yeah, music is some powerful shit sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You grew up today, Gert.
Gert became a man.
So yeah, a lot of new stuff on my top 10, so that was cool. A lot of great albums.
And what do you look for when you're picking a top 10? Like what's a thing? What are your sort of criteria that that kind of really make things jump out to you?
The replayability, I guess, for me personally. Like I don't know. I approach albums weirdly. Like I get into albums at odd times, or it's got to be in the right frame of mind to listen to an album or something. But like a lot of these albums I look back on, I was like, I replayed them a lot. Like, can I still listen to them today? Like,
He meant high. That's why I was clearing my throat so loud. That's what. Sorry.
Yeah, essentially, like, how's it hold up today? But that's also tough because a fresh album from this past month, how's it hold up to an album from January? So that's always tough. But yeah, always look for that replayability. Aside from my number 1, which I'm never
You just picked Requiem for a Dream. That's your number 1. So I want to do one thing really quick. So one thing we've been doing in this podcast is I want to record a quick
Fake sponsorships?
Yeah, I want to record a fake sponsorship. Okay, and let's say Drew, talk about our cork slip mat.
Hi, I'm Drew from Darkside Records. We just got some really sweet cork slip mats that you can use for all of your latest and greatest album purchases here at Darkside Records. Come in, grab one. They're $14.99, and they're awesome.
What do they do, Drew? Cool.
I don't know what you're looking for.
Hey, Drew, do they absorb static?
They are fabulous at absorbing static.
Do they reduce vibrations?
So many vibrations.
Would you say they grip your records better or worse than a slip mat?
Way worse.
Way better.
Okay.
I had to think about that.
Come on in and grab one today.
Well done. Brian, you do one for the starter kit.
This is Brian from Darkside Records, here to tell you about our vinyl starter kit for all you newbies out there. Come on in, and for the low price of just $300, you can get yourself an Audio-Technica turntable, LP60. You can get yourself a pair of YU2 speakers, a record brush, and a $25 gift card to spend right here in store. low price of $300. So go home, spin some records on that new stuff. And for those who are technologically advanced, we also got another one. You can get yourself a Audio-Technica LP60 Bluetooth with YU4 Bluetooth speakers for just $400.
Who makes the way for us?
Kanto, right? Well, yeah.
Don't ask me.
You don't know?
You don't know?
Yeah. YU4 Kanto speakers to match. We have it in white, black, or navy in the Bluetooth, or white, black, and silver in the regular version. Either way, you're bound to have a good time.
JJ's saying no.
No?
Black and silver.
In black and silver. So come on in.
That was a very good improv, Dad.
This is Kenny G, the famous flutist.
Flautist.
Go subscribe to this podcast. I don't know how he talks.
Are you doing it as Kenny G or are you doing it as me?
Kenny G. Go subscribe to our podcast wherever you subscribe to podcasts and leave us a review. A good one, preferably. Or just a smiley face. That's good too.
It's not a review. It's not a review.
In a heart.
I'd appreciate it.
Sorry, Sean.
Who's next?
I think it's JB.
Well, I'm going to share a list really quick. Jumping off of Tyler's list here, I do have a list from Becca, who's not here with us tonight. God rest her
I think
soul.
it's appropriate that Will read this list to us.
She died.
Should we get Will to read it?
I think.
You want me to get him?
Patch
Hey,
him in.
Will!
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 Welcome back, Will.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad you could make it. It's been so long.
I snuck in a luggage.
Oh my God. Are we cutting this part out?
Oh, no. Will is a frequent guest star.
Oh my God.
It's my real voice. And I have Becca's list here this week. It was so nice of her to stick me in her luggage. And
What accent is that?
it's British, I think.
Australian.
I'm not really sure where I'm from right now.
It's not Australian. Maybe
just-
South African.
Look, I've been in a suitcase for the last 37 hours.
It's a little better.
Cut me a little slack. So I'm going to share her list, and then I'll share mine. Mine is both Liam and Noel Gallagher 5 times each. Right, so Becca's list, it starts as number 10, Harry Styles, with his album, Harry Styles. You might know him, he's from the last great boy band, One Direction. Not as good as whatever the one you said before was. I was in the bathroom not listening. And number 9 was Lana Del Rey, with her album, Iggy Pop's Lust for Life. These are real, actual things that Becca wrote down. Number 8 was, of course, Andrew McMahon and the Wilderness, Zombies on Broadway. I thought that would be higher on the list, personally.
I'm shocked.
Surprising, right?
Shocked.
Surprising, yeah. She's growing. As she's now a little woman in England. I'm trying to think of all the British references I can right now. Number 7 was Dear Evan Anson, original Broadway cast recording.
Surprised that's not higher, honestly.
Number 6 is Kesha. Kesha's Rainbow. It's her first album away from her sexual predator manager, producer. So, that's good. Number 5. Number 5 is someone from our side of the pond. Ed Sheeran and his album, Divide.
Wait, we're just
Isn't he
saying that
English?
multiple of those people that you have mentioned are English, Will.
No, they're not. Number 4 is The Main, Lovely Little Lonely, which of course was an indie exclusive record that you guys had here at the store at Darkside Records. Number 3 was AIM, Something to Tell You. Number 2 was Lord, Melodrama. And number 1 was of course this US band, Bleachers, and their album Gone Now.
Hell yes.
Really? Because that didn't make your list.
Yes, it did.
Did it? I forget.
That was, I think,
That
my
was your
number
one.
one.
Was it your number one?
I'm tied for number 1 with a few things because I'm
Right. Okay, it's not about
She
you
loves
anymore.
them all.
It's about Becca and Will, and they're loved for each other.
So that was Becca's list.
Thank you, Will.
You're welcome.
Thanks for making the trip.
Before JB gets back, I'd like to announce that on this report that I have here,
Oh, good.
Oh shit.
where it tells me that JB has lived in Scarsdale,
Yes.
Beacon currently, New Paltz, and Cambridge, but I think it's also confusing his sister for that one.
It could be his father,
Oh, that too.
who's number 3.
It says, warning, once you view this report, your view on John H. Bryan could change forever.
Will it say his middle name?
That's what I'm hoping the report tells me.
What's it like, $14.99?
I don't know yet.
Worth every pound.
We'll all chip in.
There's an agreement. I will not stalk this person. I will not use this information for blackmail. I will not harass this person. I will not confront anyone dangerous.
Check.
Agree. Oh, now they want money.
I'm ready to hear what his name is.
I thought it could be Heritage for a moment.
That's a great middle name.
Harriet Tubman.
Is this
Harry
worth,
Styles.
Is this worth
See, that makes
$27.78?
sense to me. That's relatable. So thanks for having me on the podcast. I'm going to go get back in my suitcase now, and we're going to fly back to the UK.
Thank you, Will.
Bye, Will.
Hey guys, what I miss?
Nothing significant.
Okay, good. So anyway, I thought I would go over my top 10 with you guys here. My top 10. I feel like I had probably half of this list ready to go. And the other half was, there's a little flux. In fact, you'll see on mine here is not numbered. But I feel like I know definitely my number 1, definitely my number 2, and definitely my number 3. So, Bri,
Yes.
we have similar lists, except I actually wrote mine down
Oh shit.
and put thought into it.
Oh fuck that.
Okay. I'll give you my tangent picks first and foremost. My favorite reissue of the year, which I thought about while we were here at this table because I forgot to write one down, was the Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight soundtrack. I had that soundtrack when I was a kid, and I loved it. It has an unreleased Melvin song on it.
I know it was a big deal because you mentioned it and it was a soundtrack.
I would like to include my favorite reissue because I didn't mention
Oh,
it.
Okay,
God.
go ahead.
It was the Yeah Yeahs, Fever to Tell.
Oh, so
I've been
good.
looking for that record forever, but
Seriously.
it's so expensive and it's on a shitty pick disc. And they did a really good job on the reissue.
Fuck
and
pick discs.
Yeah, seriously. And it's has all that cool art inside, and it has a picture of the pick disc on the sleeve, which I liked. But it's not. I like that.
Good call. That was a great reissue that came out this year.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
was so excited about that.
So excited.
Yeah.
I love that record.
Yeah.
Also, my favorite soundtrack of the year was for my favorite movie of 2017,
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver, which Berto just watched.
I
did.
forgot about that.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
I can drive.
Will?
Sorry.
Will?
Get back in your suitcase.
Such a good fucking movie, and the soundtrack is so fucking good. That's really it. I'm not going to delve too deep into soundtracks. I'll leave that for you guys. All right, so my top 10, starting at number 10. Again, scared the shit out of me.
Putting a little life back into this podcast. Look alive, people.
Number 10 was the Melvins, A Walk with Love and Death. Their 2 CD, 2 LP album and soundtrack. Score, I guess, really. Score.
Yeah.
Number 9, Pallbearers, Heartless. I like Pallbearer a lot. They're a great band. Cool, good talk. Number 8, Mastodon's Emperor of Sand. And I will say that I'm going to lump the EP that they also released, called Dark Place. I'm going to lump both of those in together. I know they were released separately. I sort of put them together as kind of like one expanded release. And they both have their merits, and I like both of them. So I don't see a problem with putting them together.
I'm fine with that lump.
Nobody cares. Okay.
No, I'm agreeing to the lump.
Number 7, Crystal Fairy. Crystal Fairy, of course, is the dare I say, supergroup that is King. Okay, that is King Buzzo and Dale from the Melvins. It is Omar Rodriguez Lopez of the Mars Volta and At the Drive-In, and Terry Genderbender of Les Butcherettes in one band.
That's a super group.
No, that word gets thrown around way too liberally.
It's an okay group.
Like,
Not the Traveling Wilburys.
yeah, I don't even want to call that a super group. It's just another group.
What do you call a
Just
super
another
group?
group. Nothing. There's no super group. Think about all the bands and people. Like, pick one band, the Byrds. How many fucking bands were spawned out of members of the Byrds? Like 10. Nobody's calling Crosby, Stills, and Nash a supergroup. It's just some bullshit marketing term nowadays.
So they're a group that I liked.
An alliance.
They were a group. They had a good record. Number 6, I'll say Queens of the Stone Age, Villains. I really enjoyed the new Queens of the Stone Age, and I feel like in this room, I feel like most of us enjoy the new Queens of the Stone Age, and I can recall talking with some other people outside of this room about the album, and they did not like it at all. And one of the main things I heard was the production on the record was like the main thing that people were so anti. And for me, I kind of enjoyed it. Like, I think that this to me sounded like a very logical progression from Like Clockwork. Like it was like a very thematically similar, but sort of like built upon follow-up album to that. Like there's something this production that he's going with that's like, I don't know, if it's Josh Homme wanting to do it, or if it's something he's inspired by, but it's this, he's always on sort of like lo-fi recordings. The way it sounded was so unique. And for me, even, I remember the first time hearing it and being almost confused by how it sounded. Like, the mix is so strange and the EQ is so strange.
Reaction. Yeah.
But I grew to sort of, I think, like, get it. I think I understand like where he's coming from and what he was trying to do, and there's so much like like sort of synth rock and goth rock influence on this record. There's so many keyboards and synths on this record, and that's something I really enjoyed about it.
I feel like they definitely changed, but they have a different sound, but it's not bad necessarily.
Yeah,
it's a good change, and
it's like he's doing a
he's
thing.
the Ginger Elvis, so he's pretty fucking cool.
I've never thought about it that way until you just said it. And that is.
I'm kind of curious. I think the album gets a bad rap because Mark Ronson was the producer and he's known for a lot of popular songs. And then when that first came out, it got a lot of outrage from Queens fans. But I think if that name wasn't associated and if it was any other producer, I think a lot of people would have appreciated the album a whole lot more.
Yeah, probably put a bad taste in their mouth just right from the start.
Just from the start.
Is
Yep.
kind of nonsense. It's a really bad way to go into listening to something.
Number 5, Quicksand. Interiors. The new Quicksand record. It's their first album in 87 years.
Wow.
But just a really good record. A really listenable record, and one that is for me is one that I just keep spinning. It's gotten so many repeated plays, and each time I do, I find like another song that I just really appreciate. Okay, so 4, Zeal and Ardor. Devil is Fine.
I wanted to listen to that, but still haven't actually done it.
It's fucking crazy, and it's great.
The description is just incredible, and I want to listen to it, but I haven't found the time. I know, we have a copy right
We have like 3 copies in here, yeah.
I know, I brought them home. Or here.
Actually, the person who introduced me to Zeal and Ardor was, in fact, Dan Aloisi, who told me about this record, months ago. And it was a similar thing. I just didn't listen. And then you brought some home, and
yeah, I had read about it, and then they were giving them away for free, and so I grabbed a bunch, and then I didn't do anything about it.
The album is some European musician.
I think he's a Kiwi.
Oh,
No,
Wrong.
Put Will's in
Will,
the
I told you to get
suitcase.
back in that suitcase.
I don't know who you guys are talking to. That was just me being excited. But the premise of the album was basically him mixing 2 genres that were suggested to him, or that were sort of diametrically opposed. And so he took old slavery era spirituals from America.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, and combine them with black metal, Norwegian black metal. And it is just this crazy half metal, half bizarre, musically. It's so strange and it's so beautiful and it's so good. And it has to do with Satan, so of course I like it. But it's just a really good record.
You played that in the store once, and I was like, "What the fuck
Yeah,
are we listening
I think we were
to?"
working together
And I
at
was like,
night.
I kind of dig it.
I feel like is the correct response.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just subjected you to that
All good.
without a preface. Okay, number 3. I think my 2 and my 3 are the most interchangeable. I'm going to say number 3, Mutoid Man, Warmones. Love that record.
I'll say no more.
Okay. Mutoid Man is, of course, a group.
Thank you.
It is Steve Brodsky from Cave-In, drummer of Converge.
If they're just a
and-
group, why does that matter?
So it's some dudes, and they write really good tunes. This is their 3rd album, and it is just, it just bleeds friends who love playing music together. Like that is, if nothing else, that is the one thing that just is exuded by this record. They just enjoy playing and writing and being around each other, and that's what.
That shit's tight.
Yeah, that's what touches me in that special place. Please don't say that again. Number 2, Dead Cross. Dead Cross, another group. A lot of groups on my list this year.
Imagine that.
Mike Patton. It's a Mike Patton project, so
I'm fine with the word project.
I was
That's all
already.
Mike Patton has.
Yeah, well,
So many.
I'm going with Mike Patton would not use the word supergroup.
I agree with you. Yeah. And my number 1 pick for the year, Elder. Reflections on a Floating World.
I like that one.
Yeah, it was good.
good.
It was good.
We listened to that today, right?
We listened to that today.
That was very good.
We did a little earlier today. We did a little bit where we each played our number 1s, and I played Elder.
Except me.
But I believe they're from Providence, Rhode Island, and are just a great fucking band and just such a killer record. So good, so many elements, and something that to me is like my favorite thing is just like psych rock and stoner rock. There's something about that specifically that really speaks to me, and there's so much going on in this record. It is dense as shit. And so many influences are coming out on it, and I liked it. Who wants to
I'll go.
Yeah. All right, Berto. What about you? What did you like this year?
Strap in.
Soundtrack time.
You've been doing the most home listening this year.
I have been doing a lot of home listening and traveling.
The home game.
So I got some a couple honorable mentions that didn't quite fit into my top 10.
Okay.
The Babadook score, released by Waxwork.
No,
Was that actually out?
I got my
Digitally?
subscriber copy.
Yeah.
Came out like 2 weeks ago or something, I think.
Fuck it. This is Gark
this is
last
just
year all
gonna-
over again.
It dropped for sale on their website about a week ago.
This is just
Yeah,
going to
I
be
know.
him naming stuff and me going, oh, yeah.
That one, it's not good enough to listen to again and again, but it's good enough that you could go fucking insane listening to it. I also got the Narrow Place by Karen and the Sorrows, which was a female-led country group. And the whole premise of the record is that it's tough being gay and a country musician. And there's a whole song about eating pussy in the backseat of a car, eating another woman's pussy in the backseat of a car.
Either way.
In a country town, like southern, like basically the struggle of being in a like really small demographic in a world where that's kind of frowned upon and not accepted. I mean, apart from that kind of fun track, it has a pretty strong message. It's cool. Favorite reissue is a tie between the Exorcist score, released by Waxwork this year,
yeah.
and the Fragile, 9 Inch Nails. Mainly because that's
Ooh.
never been tough to find an original copy on vinyl, and they finally redid it.
Those Nine Inch Nails reissues were fucking great. The remasters that they did sounded so good. I was so
fucking-
happy to see those.
Yeah, it was amazing. So jumping into my list, number 10, the Twin Peaks soundtrack.
Ooh.
That would be the songs that were used in the show, not the score.
Not
Twin Peaks:
Angelo's.
The Return.
Not Badalamenti's score. Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed listening to it. It's just a
Agreed.
nice kind of chill record to listen to.
And a funny thing is, I remember hearing those songs. We obviously we went hard into that series this year.
Yeah,
and
you did.
I'm still hard.
We know.
Same.
It hasn't gone away after 4 hours.
See a doctor. And when those songs were played in the episodes, I remember hating them so much and like hating the bands and realizing afterwards, like hearing the soundtrack afterwards and going back and looking at the episodes, after having watched them in the moment, like it's so good. It's so good. The songs are good. The bands are good.
See, I enjoy. I haven't watched the new series yet. So
Neither have I.
Boo this man.
So I can enjoy the soundtrack, like that compilation on its own. It's just a good comp record. So number 9, A Deeper Understanding by War on Drugs. Just chill.
Drew, is that your number 9?
It was my number 7.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
It's interesting when our signs align and we have things in the same number.
Don't get me going now.
It's the stars that align.
No, your sign. Your
No, you're thinking of the Silver
planets
Linings
align for your
playbook.
rising
My mistake.
sign.
That didn't make sense. Number 8, Colors by Beck.
Ooh.
It's just a solid pop record. It's just fun to listen to. I enjoy it.
It's very dancey.
Number 7, Baby Driver soundtrack.
My man.
Sweet.
I mean, it's fun. It's all sorts of old school R&B.
I forgot.
But I love the liner notes in it, where the Edgar Wright's talking about how he basically wrote that movie because he wanted to one day, when he was like 19 years old, he decided he wanted to direct a car chase using bell bottoms. The opening song of the movie.
Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
No,
Ted Leo and the Pharmacists.
closer. John Spencer, Blues Explode.
There you go.
And I mean, it just reminded me, like, how many times, like, throughout my life, if I listened to a song and been like, oh, this would be awesome in a movie, or it'd be cool to see this done to this music. So the whole soundtrack's awesome. Number 6, The Void soundtrack, released by Death Waltz. It's fucking good. And here's a blast from the past that Justin and JB will recognize. On that soundtrack is Lustmord. Threw some really weird sounds into that record.
Fun fact: Berto found Lust Lord through a priest. I
True,
should
that
say.
was awesome. It's creepy. that guy is creepy. Not the priest. Well,
2 words.
the artist.
Context.
Number 5, The Bad Batch soundtrack.
Was that
it was
was
a
that a
movie.
snore or was that a groan?
Whatever you need it to
Okay.
Is it a soundtrack to a yogurt documentary?
Nope. It was the second movie from.
Edit.
The Bad Batch was the second film directed by Anna Lily Amirpour. Amirpour? I don't know her last name. Same woman who directed a couple of years ago Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Which
okay.
I think made at least my top 3 the year that soundtrack came out.
The U.S. or the international version?
Of Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the
Right
vampire movie. Let the right one in.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That one
gotcha.
is only watch the international version.
Yes.
Just
Fuck
move
the
on.
US version.
Just
Yes.
move
Who the fuck are you? You know this.
on. Look.
Sorry, I got heated. Anyway, so that's cool. It's got
Edit.
some mixture of like 90s pop and electronic funk, and it's a good soundtrack. Number 4, Villains by Queens of the Stone Age.
Hey, an album.
First one since 7. That one grew on me a lot. Like I listened to it when it came out, and I was not into it, and then kept listening to it, and it's good stuff. Number 3, this was my kind of random surprise one this year. Slow Dive by Slow Dive.
Ooh, good pick. Good pick.
It's a fucking good record. I never listened to any of their older stuff, and that just kind of came up like my new releases, and I put it on, and it's just chill. I can listen to it again and again, especially when I'm driving. But yeah, it was the first album in 17 years, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I really
good
like
fucking
that one,
record.
too.
Number 2 is The Nashville Sound by Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit.
Very nice.
His last record, Something More Than Free, made my list the year that came out a couple years ago. He went like darker this time, like really kind of introspective.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like at a serious point. Like
He went. I mean, like the
If we were vampires.
if we were vampires. Is that's a whole song called "Anxiety," like about his random anxieties.
yeah, but like he's very
White
public
Man's
about
Town.
most of that, and I feel like most of it he's talking to his daughter the whole time.
White Man's
I'm
Town
not
is
saying it's a
definitely
bad
talking to his
thing,
daughter.
but like I feel like it's not as dark as Something More Than Free. Like that was like sort of fresh out of rehab, and like just full of pain. And now this one, I mean, I think this one's angrier.
I guess it's probably angrier. Maybe that's a better description
It's
for
like,
it.
you know, it's a little more political. It's more societally observant.
I think he calls out some country music kind of standards and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a word snob here, but I don't find it to be darker
Captain
than Something More
Thesaurus
Than
down
Free.
there.
Yeah, I have your back on that, actually, JJ. This album is probably my honorable mention of the year. I really enjoyed this record, and I sort of take it the way you took it. I think it's like I always appreciate like a redemption story, and yeah, I don't take it as sad or even like angry. It's so honest. It's just addressing like the shittiness of things in this great way, and that's why I liked it.
It's my number 2.
Okay.
My number 1 kind of surprised even me how much I ended up listening to this record. It's a soundtrack.
No, God damn it!
Take it all back.
It was the soundtrack to Atomic Blonde. The soundtrack is basically, if I put on like Pandora and I want to listen to like weird 80s Bowie, this soundtrack is what I want to hear. It's like all this weird German covers, German pop prog, like late 80s. You feel like you're in East Berlin.
Does it
It's just-
include 99 Luftballons?
2 versions of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm in.
The original Nina version and then a really cool, like, kind of trancy cover version. But the score itself, it's interspersed with bits of the score written by Tyler Bates, who I always enjoy. And his recently found buddy, Marilyn Manson, pops up on a track. It's just cool. It's an all-around fun record. Like, I will listen to that regularly for a while, probably.
That was something I took away after seeing the movie. Was like, holy shit, the soundtrack is great,
Yeah.
and I would love to own this.
It's worth it. It's a worthy investment.
You're worth it.
Oh,
No,
you, John Herbert.
John Airy Styles.
All right, I guess it's my turn.
With the well thought out, planned list.
I thought about it. Just didn't have a lot of time to think about it.
you've had like an hour and a half. We've been sitting here.
I'm listening.
Unlike some people, JB.
What?
I don't know.
Okay, so I thought about my reissue of the year while we were talking about this, and I think that was the Johnny Cash Unearthed box set.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's technically a reissue because it's never been on LP, but I'm going to call it a reissue because the music has been released. Been waiting for that one for years, and they did a nice job. Great packaging, well made.
Very reminiscent of the CD box.
Yeah. Check out our unboxing video on YouTube.
My man.
All right. Much like my esteemed comrade, Roberto, my number 10 is the Twin Peaks soundtrack. I've been listening to the Twin Peaks soundtrack a lot, particularly in the last 3 months. I couldn't put it any higher because it's not really, for the most part, new material. But it's a new compilation, so I felt that was good enough to make it number 10. Number 9, Courtney Barnett, Kurt Vile, Whole Lot of Sea Lice. Love Courtney Barnett. I think her albums have been on my list in the past. And this one surprised me how much I liked it. I think their voices really complement one another. Number 8, no one else has mentioned. Nicole Atkins, Goodnight Rhonda Lee. Another Got Clean, made a soul R&B album. Very little self-deprecating. I apprappreciate that.
A friend of the store.
And she's a nice lady.
She pulled
Nice
my
lady.
beard once, so that worked
That's
well
all
for
it
me.
took.
That's it.
Makes that top 10 list forever.
Number 7, Mastodon, Emperor of Sand. Thought it was a great record. And I would say maybe my favorite live show of the year was Mastodon at the Ryman in Nashville, which is also aided by the fact that I was given the ticket and I was both wined and dined before the event. So I was well inebriated going into it. And it was the first metal show ever to be held at the Ryman in Nashville, which was pretty fucking cool. Number 6, and felt like it had to be up here somewhere because I bought 3 versions of it, is Ryan Adams' Prisoner. So I got the indie exclusive, the other big box retailer different cover variant exclusive, and the End of the World edition, which is a 45
Man's got a
box
shtick,
set.
yeah.
It's this whole box, and it like folds out, makes his live stage set up, and his cats are included as little characters.
You need to show me
That's
this immediately.
And the cassette,
Immediately.
too.
And the cassette, yeah. My number 5, Queens of the Stone Age, Villains. Loved it. Knew I would. Didn't give a shit that they said anything about Mark Ronson. That was great. Number 4, Manchester Orchestra of Black Mile to the Surface. They never disappoint. I think this album was a little more mature than some of the other records. Like, I think he might have been painting in a cave a bit, to use that expression. Have you heard that one? No. All right, look it up.
Prehistoric man painted in caves.
Yeah, it's like a writing term for like, you know, just sort of just pounding it out and, you know,
It's a masturbation term.
and
That's yeah.
Look it up. Number 3.
Pounding it out.
Thanks to my man T-Gurks here.
Oh.
Turned me onto it, and glad he did. Preservation Hall Jazz Band, So It Is. The album's fucking great. You need to pick me up. That'll do it. And then, so I got to see them live in New Orleans at Preservation Hall, and they recorded it while I was there, and that came out on Black Friday as a Record Store Day piece. So that's also exciting. All right, and then my number 2 and number 1, I struggled a little while to figure out which was which. And my number 2 ultimately became where it is because introspection will always win out fun for me. And so number 2 being the fun pick, that is Mutoid Man Warmones.
Yeah.
By far the most fun album of the year. Anytime you say that you came inside of Satan's daughter and 9 months later you're a father, that works for me. And number 1, I don't think I heard anybody else mention. Father John Misty, pure comedy.
Ooh, nice.
You know, as a 30-something white male, his lyrics certainly resonate with me. Full of introspection, self-deprecation, horrible childhood memories, and a general malaise at the longing for the rest of your life.
You know, I felt like asking you at the beginning of this, where does Father John Misty land on your list this year? Because I knew inevitably it would be there. Because the last one was that your number 1 that year too?
Was it?
I Love You,
I Love
Honey
You,
Bear.
I Love You, Honey Bear.
I mean, fuck, that's an amazing record.
I'm pretty sure it must have been your 1 or 2. Like,
Yeah.
I know he always makes the list.
He does. Oh, well, my first discovery of him was I Love You, Honey Bear, and this is being the follow-up to that, which I feel like a lot of people panned it. Like, but he really, you know, I think he didn't shy away from what he wanted to actually say to make the same sort of, because I Love You, Honey Bear was very much more social commentary and sort of hipster commentary.
And a lot of love kind
like,
of stuff, too.
and also like a lot of misogyny, really.
Yeah, yeah.
And he stepped away from all that and just sort of turned it back on himself and the fact that he's willingly calling himself Father John Misty, which in of source is ridiculous. I think the album plays into all of that, and great record. It kills me. I remember a couple Sundays here alone. We didn't schedule anybody, and I probably played it 4 or 5 times in a row here.
You do really have to listen to that album.
Oh my
and
god,
the lyrics.
I can't remember the name of the track, but the one where he's telling the story of almost choking to death on like a gumball in J.C. Penney, like. Fuck, man. It's brutal. Like, it's funny.
While that Sweet Little Lies song
Yeah.
plays.
Fuck. What a way to go.
I mean, he didn't.
Well,
survived.
Well, I would hope. Like,
I guess it's a real story though. I read in an interview later it's actually factually accurate.
I have to give that
100%. Some of my favorite songs of the year, with no doubt, were on that record.
It's just, it's a massive thing. It's a double LP. So, and he's writing 4-minute tracks and
13-minute tracks.
And even like the video for Pure Comedy, the title track, fucking incredible. Like that was hooked the second I saw it. He's got all the major events of the last 2 years happening. If you really sit and delve, Tyler, I might need some weed. If you lend me in
Right back.
for a while, you can really get lost in all the fucked up shit that's going on the cover. And I highly recommend it. Turn your Christmas blue. Pick up a copy today.
Kill yourself for Christmas.
No, that's not what he's saying. No. He's saying
Give up
I'm an
gumballs.
asshole. I feel like,
Come on.
Well, you guys, thank you for being here for this podcast. Once again, for listeners who are listening,
no one's listening to this.
People checked out an hour ago.
if you've listened this far into the podcast, what the hell? Well, maybe we'll do an old podcast tradition. We'll give you a coupon code.
Context.
2 words.
2 words.
Context.
You got to go to the register, say 2 words, context, and we'll give you
10% off one purchase.
boom. Whole purchase or item?
Whole purchase.
Whoa.
End of the year with the
Wow.
He's being generous.
Yeah.
So,
It expires on December 20th.
Yeah, end of the year it expires.
Expires in half an hour.
Once January comes, you're done.
because we have coupon books for January
That's
anyway.
damn right.
True.
Jonesing in January.
Oh,
So
yeah.
don't forget, if you haven't gotten one of the coupon books here, we have coupon books that we're giving out that have coupons.
Get
All
luck.
kinds of goodies.
Imagine that. Coupons in the coupon book.
All kinds of discounts for you that you can pick up. They're free. They're here in the store. They're physical.
I would like to also say only one with a physical list.
No.
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 We've got a shitty envelope.
Kenny G.
No.
So that's our best of 2017 podcast. Thanks for listening. Any last notes anyone wants to leave for our listeners?
I feel like now that I'm hearing their list, I didn't explain mine enough. I feel like I hated on Sam Smith, but he is. I did not listen
love
to
you,
it
Sam.
enough, and I did enjoy it.
I'm going to record an offshoot podcast for this, which is people
Regrets.
just taking back things they said on the podcast. It's just Berto and Kendra.
You don't want to take back your one snafu?
Context. So thanks you guys for being here. We are open for the rest of the year. There's still time to get great gifts. We have tons of music. We have tons of toys, movies, clothes,
Things.
Records.
cork mats,
Couple records.
Oven
Shit,
mitts.
that's tight.
Socks.
oven mitts.
You said clothes.
Things
Darkside
that-
fun fact. Yesterday, December 18th, was the day we sold the most socks in one single day.
We have been selling a lot of
Ever.
socks.
We sold a
Wow.
fuck ton of socks on December 18th.
That's our podcast for this month. Thanks for listening. As always, if you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a good rating in iTunes or your Google Play or your Stitcher or wherever it is that you're listening to this podcast. Give us, I don't want to tell you how many stars, but somewhere between 5 and 6 million. And the better ratings you give us, the more opportunity we get to be in front of ears and eyeballs and crotches of new listeners that can hear this for the first time. Whatever the fuck this is, can hear this.
Do you have a 2-hour commute?
Are you
Enjoy
sitting in
listening
traffic?
to strangers rank albums? The Darkside Records podcast.
You want something more interesting than the last Mac DeMarco record?
Oh, wait.
Hey now!
I know you guys gotta chill out now.
So that's our podcast for this month.
You were so triggered
We'll
by
be
it.
back next. We'll be back next year with another episode. So until then, happy holidays. Thank you, as always, for listening. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting independent record stores. Thank you for supporting music, live, recorded, and otherwise.
Anything else you want to thank someone for?
Tacos.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
And so on behalf of Darkside Records, I'm JB.
I'm Brian.
I'm Julia.
I'm Drew.
I'm stoned. And Tyler.
Kendra.
Thanks, Kenny. I'm Berto.
I'm JJ.
And I will.
Get back in that suitcase.
Sorry. So this has been the Darkside Records podcast.
See you in the bins.
One more thing, since a lot of us are here.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, yes. It is time.
1 second.
Should we be recording this?
Wait, this is an actual thing?
Yeah, this is real.
We should be recording
This
this.
is very real.
You guys are you're aware of ahead of time?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
It is a bit of an intervention.
I know. I'm balding. Okay? I know.
I was actually thinking that today.
Balding.
JB,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
What? Wait. What?
From all of us here
Why are you pushing?
From all of us here at
Trying to get
at
Darkside
Darkside
Records.
Records.
Hang on, let me bust out the noisy cricket here.
This is like a surprise for me right now.
I know. I don't know what the fuck is going on, and I'm the
It's
one
going-
getting the shit. This is fucking weird.
It's going to
So-
be amazing.
Out of nowhere, Drew has just came and given me a present.
You're welcome.
It's a cardboard box. Is it from you?
It's from all of us.
Oh, god damn it. It's an intervention. Fuck.
We had a group chat without you, obviously.
This makes Secret
How's it feel?
Santa so much more weird now.
No,
You
those,
good?
No, it,
No.
No?
This is a
we-
bonus.
just
Yeah.
wait.
Oh, god. How many places did you tape this thing? Hang on, let me get the noisy cricket back
Something
out.
that should be filmed.
It couldn't hurt.
Oh, that's Propecia, I know it. Fuck.
Clearly, we found his weakness.
Tape.
Tape, middle names,
Tape is the worst.
and male pattern
pattern
baldness. I'm genuinely nervous. I don't know what the fuck to expect here.
Should be.
There you go, Kendra.
I like that you put tissue paper on it.
Yeah.
So much
That shit's a legit present, man.
Did your mom wrap this?
A little bit.
She's a good lady.
Show the camera, JB.
It's a t-shirt.
No, it's a tank top.
Oh, wow.
That is very
crop
much
top.
not a
It's a crop top.
It's a tank top for my favorite artist.
American Idol.
American Idol's own. The real thing. Bo Bice.
I'm gonna fucking piss my pants.
How am I supposed to
I
wear
know
this
you
in
went
public?
to the tour.
I want to wear this so bad.
The real question is, how can't you wear it? We all saw what you wore to the store the day after you got your arm tattooed.
This is a lot more neck than I'm willing to show.
There's going to be so much hair popping out of that.
Oh, so much hair.
He should have been here the day after he got tattooed.
Oh man.
Oh. Thank you, Drew. Everyone else. I'm going to wear it with pride.
I didn't expect it to be that
I know,
small,
that's a crop
but I
top.
think that makes it even better.
Yep.
Look,
It's going to be snug.
that's the way Bo likes it. So it's the way I like it. So nice.
They named it Bice.
Thanks, you guys.
Hope you enjoyed your bonus.
Oh man.
Can someone take a picture?
Just a picture of you actually wearing it. Is
Yeah, you gotta put it on.
Ugh. Ugh.
All right, girl.
This is how I want to be remembered.
Oh, it will be.
Legends, legends never die.
I will wear this with pride. Next time you have a fancy function that you need support at, when you graduate college or have a family event, I will wear this with pride.
Also, you're balding.
Yeah, you really are. You really are.
Holy shit, Julia.
Look, when I said,
I only say this because
look, when I said,
Berto brought it up again, and it's true. Just own it, honestly.
look,
I am also balding, and I feel like I can say it. I can gently remind him in public on the internet that he too is suffering from baldness.
look, when I said I want you guys to tell me when it's time for me to let it go, that's not how
I'm not
I
saying
anticipated
that.
this going.
Oh, I'm not saying that at all.
No, you should hold on to it for another embarrassing year or so.
Don't worry, this is off the record.
Damn.
No, this is on the record. This is all going on the podcast. No edits here. So, listeners, tell me when it's time for me to cut my hair off. Let me know when it's time to just ride this into the sunset to Valhalla. I can handle it unless you do it like an asshole like Julia just did. So that's the Darkside Records podcast for this month with 6 of my favorite people.
Fair enough.
One
Fair enough.
friend.
And Roberto. So we'll be back in a month. Thanks for listening.
See you in the bins.
See you in the bins.
I think we had like 2 conclusions.
We did.
yeah, no,
I'm
we
just
did.
going to cut out the first
It's
conclusion.
Straight up
Yeah.
Peter
Okay.
Jackson.
I was going to say it's a Judd Apatow film.
This is worth keeping in. Yeah, that's all good.
Happy you love it.
I do.